So good afternoon to all of you. Now I will come for this last session of day 2, the hands-on session, and I would like to work with the Tinkercad. I would like to program some actuators and would like to display some sensors data on LCD display. So the file shared with you may be like this. So we'll have a file like this, and I think yesterday we have covered this LDR and the temperature sensor data. Let me try to see how to get the PR sensor data, and then we'll move to the lab 2, that is the motor control, and then we'll move to the weather station, and then we'll assign a one small assignment to you. If you would like to do it yourself, then you can combine this motor control and the weather station together, so that in next 60 minutes I will try to cover both this application, and in next 15 to 20 minutes we'll try to combine both the applications. So the file shared with you is this one, that is the PIR FDV4. So just copy it and or either click on it and you'll get a new window that will I think open this PIR sensor FDV4. Now this is hands-on session, and if you face any issues, you can directly unmute yourself and you can ask your query, so that we can keep this session bi-directional. You know that due to the theory session, there may be that in one way we are listening from last almost 4 hours. So I also would like to listen from your side, your doubts and queries. Okay, so this is what the PR sensor connected with the Arduino, and it is connected at, let me see where it is actually connected. So it is connected with, this is the output pin of your PR. So this is orange color output pin is there, which is connected at pin number 2. And then this buzzer is there, which is connected through this blue line, and this is connected to at pin number 3. Okay, and we have a LCD is there, so we are using only 4 lines to connect with the LCD. There, due to this, we see that the number of pins required to your LCD is only 4. So we are just sending the lower bits first, then higher bits later. Likewise, we are using the 4 bits for your display. So if you go to the code, now it is very easy to understand. We have added one library for liquid crystal, as this LCD is a special device. This LCD is a 16 by 2 LCD, so it is a special device, and its support is not in the Arduino. So therefore, there is a separate libraries available we can use for the purpose of displaying the information here. Now therefore we have added this library here. If you would like to add different libraries here, some of the libraries provided here. This is the block named as a library. Now if you click on it, it shows these are the different libraries available with Tinkercad. What actually it means that these are the only libraries that we can use for including different devices in your project. We cannot include the libraries which are not available here till the date. Okay, so we have a very good support is available, just like we have a stepper support, SPI, SD card, wire, software serial, servo, then we have a EEPROM. So there is a good support available, and that we have to include in our project. Now we have defined here two pins for input and output, or we can say for one sensor and one for buzzer. Now we see here the pin number 2 that we have connected where to the PIR sensor. So therefore it is connected to the PIR here. So this PIR in variable is assigned to pin 2. Then this buzzer, let me see where it is connected. So buzzer is now connected at pin number 3. So this buzzer out variable is assigned to 3. Now you see here, this is the LCD crystal object defined here with the name of LCD. And what are the number of pins used here? Total pins used here are 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and then one is RS, correct? And then one is the enable. So first one will be the enable, and then will be the RS. Okay, and there is one read write pin available, but that read write pin is already grounded. So we have used 6 pins here to send the data to on 16:2 LCD. Fine. Now next we'll move to the setup. And what we have, one pin is for PIR sensor and one is pin is we have used for the buzzer. So what it means that the PIR sensor is the input device, which is a digital device, and buzzer is also a digital output. So what we'll do, we'll define this PIR pin as a input and buzzer as a output. So you see here, this PIR in pin, that is a pin number 2, is defined as an input here, whereas the pin number 3 is defined here as output. Now we would like to send some data to serial monitor. So we have used the serial begin with the baud rate 9600. Now there is something different here, that is we have added the LCD object. Okay, so with which name we are going to use the LCD here? LCD. If you are going to use multiple LCDs in your project, then you have to assign different names. Just like we can assign LCD1, then I can copy it like this. Okay, and we'll go with this one, and you have to assign LCD2, but the pin number should be different. Okay, so likewise you can do, or you can connect different LCDs to your Arduino with the different objects. Fine. Now we have to define whether our LCD is of what type. Here we have a LCD of 16:2 type. Okay, so this is what the support available in the Tinkercad, but in practice or in practically we have a number of different LCDs are available, just like 16:4 is there, then 20:4 is there. So that type of specific LCD we have to define. Here the 16 defines the number of characters, whereas 2 defines the number of rows. So this LCD has 2 rows, whereas each row contains the 16 characters. So we can display total 32 characters on this both the rows of this LCD. Okay. Now each and every row has some specific addresses given in the Arduino. The address for the first row is 0, whereas the address for the second row is 1. Okay, and the character position that we can define by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 15. In the same way, we can define the character position for second row. Okay. Now next we'll keep the position of your cursor. So we are keeping the LCD cursor position at 0, 0 location, so that we can display any characters from the first row, first character position. Now what we would like to print? We would like to print all clear. What actually this code is going to do, actually this is a PIR sensor. In front of it, if you keep any object, then it is going to detect it. So any moving object is there, then it is going to detect. So it shows some area. Within that area, if you keep your object, then it detects it, and we are going to alarm this buzzer. That is what the task we are doing. Okay. So, and if there is any object, then we will say here there is object or some or intruder is there, likewise. Okay, just like there are many examples, or undergraduates people are doing some projects for farms or some what can I say, the compounds, where suppose somebody comes near to it and then automatically a buzzer starts ringing. So that such type of projects we can do. So obviously we need a good project, good sensors to get a better accuracy. But till now we have these sensors available and we can at least uh, do some prototype here. So initially what we are displaying LCD print, that is all clear. It means that we do not have any intruder. Okay, and now we are reading the PR sensor. Since this PR sensor, we have connected this PR sensor, we are connected with pin number 2 as, and this pin number 2 is nothing but your digital input. So that's why we are reading this sensor as a digital read. Correct, and whatever the digital read value is there, that we are going to store in a sensor value. Now we are assigning it as a boolean because we would like either it will be a true or false, or it has a value of 0 or 1. That's why we are assigning boolean here. Now we have to check whether this sensor value is 1 or not. When it is going to be 1, whenever there is any object available in front of this PR sensor, okay, then only it is going to give assign a value 1 to the pin number 2. Okay, otherwise its value will be 0. So if this sensor value is 1, it means that there is a someone in front of this PR sensor. So that we can assume as some intruder is going inside into your farm or into your compound wall. So what would like to do, we would like to ring this alarm. Therefore, at what pin number our is there? At the pin number 3, and its name is buzzer out. So here is the your buzzer out, and this buzzer out we would like to make high, so we are used digital right here. Fine, now buzzer will start ringing here. Now we would like to display something on your LCD display. So we are again making the LCD set cursor to 00, because this time again we would like to display on a first row. So therefore it is 0 0. So what is 0 0 here is what is the size of this LCD? It is a 16 by 2. Now it shows that the second parameter is the row, whereas the first parameter shows the characters. So it means that whatever this set cursor position is there, the first parameter shows the character position, whereas the second parameter shows the row. Okay, so here this is the first row and its address is 0, whereas the second row has an address of 1. So you see here the address is here 0. So at the first row, first character position, we would like to display intruder in the house. Okay, so on a second line now we would like to display this house. So what is the address here? Let's see, LCD dot set cursor 0, 1. So 1 means here is the second row, and we have a 0 is here, and we are going to display here. We know that the each row can print or display only 16 characters. Now if you see here, this intruder in the, how much characters here? INT. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is there. So already total 16 characters are there in the first row. So obviously we are not going to display this house on a first row. Therefore, we are going to display this on a second row. Fine. And now we have kept here the delay of 3 seconds, so that after every 3 seconds we'll check whether there is an intruder or not. And if there is no intruder, then we'll display the all clear. Otherwise, we'll display there is an intruder in the house. Okay. And now see here again, after this 3 seconds, we are writing here the LCD clear. Why this is so? Because every time we would like to print this either intruder in the house, or we would like to print all clear. So if you are not going to make this LCD dot clear, then what will happen? It will print all clear on the intruder in the house, or it will print intruder in the house on the all clear. So every time it is going to keep both the things, and it is very difficult to read the data on the LCD. So we have to keep this LCD dot clear. And now we have a else condition is here. So what is the else condition here? That sensor value is 0. So if your sensor value is 0, what we want, we just want to display the all clear, okay, and therefore we do not want to display in a else condition here. But what about the alarm? That should be a low. So digital buzz right, buzzer out to be the low, and again we are keeping some delay for here. So what actually this is going to do, so if we have a sensor value is there to be 1, then it is going to display intruder in the house on a LCD, and it is going to run the buzzer, okay, by using this high, and this will remain for 3 seconds. So your buzzer will run for 3 seconds, and it is going to clear your LCD, and then again it will go to the first line, and it will display the all clear. But again, if your digital read value is 1, then it is going to display the intruder in the house. Okay, so it is going to display very fast. Fine, so let me try to run this one. So it is displaying all clear. Now here the question comes, how we can bring an object here. So what you have to do, just click on this. If you click on this PR sensor, it is going to display something here. This is the area in which it is going to detect the object, and this ball, it shows that it is an object. Now if I move it, you see that there is a sound comes from this alarm or this buzzer. And if I stop there, then the alarm stops ringing, correct? What actually this is, because we know that the PR sensor detects the moving objects. Okay, and if you stop there, then it is going to, it is not going to detect the object there. Now if I move out of this, okay, if I move here, and if I even move the position of this object, it is not going to give the data. Okay, even if I move like this, see, so still it is not detecting the object. So why this is so? Because this PR sensor has a specific range given here. So in this specific range only, it is going to display the, so it is going to display the, detect the object. So if I move near to this region, see, now it started detecting the intruder in the house. If again I am intruder in the house. Fine. So in this way, we can add some of these sensors, either analog sensors or digital sensors, and we can also use the help of some displays, and we can share some information or values on this LCD. Now next, we will move to the our lab 2. So today we'll move to the example of motor control. So let me copy it. So just copy this link and paste it in your browser. Now open this. So we'll get this. Okay, do you have any queries for the last experiment that we did? It is not actually possible to change the distance here because this is a prototype here. So within the particular that range, we can keep our object, and based on that we can detect whether there is an object available or not. So now once it is going to open your motor control utility file, it will show like this. I think yesterday you know how to open it. So if you are not aware about this, I will show it how to open it. You just copy this link and paste in a browser and open it. And then it will ask for tinker this. If you, sorry, I think you will get the message like this: copy and tinker this. So click on it, and then automatically that circuit is going to added in your library. So we'll get the display like this. So here we have used the IC L293D. L293D is a bidirectional motor control IC which has output current rating of around 1 ampere. And one of the advantage of this technical record is that you don't need to remember all the pin numbers. It shows everything here. See here on the pin number 1, it shows enable 1 and 2. Then here it shows input 1, then output 1, then ground, okay, output 2, input 2, then power 2. And this is the power 1. So this IC has two power pins, power 1 and power 2 is there. So you see here, with this power 2 pin, it is connected to 5 volt. Okay. Then power 1 is also connected to the VCC, that is a 5 volt. What about the grounds? Both the ground pins are also connected to the ground. Correct? And what about this pin? The enable 1 and 2 is there. So it means that this IC has a 1 pin by which we can enable this IC. And once you enable this, actually there is a H bridge is there. And that H bridge, if you like to activate, then there is an enable pin is there. So this enable pin should be either connected to the high, or we should send it the high or 5 volt through the programming. So if you see here, this pin 1 is connected to the one of the Arduino pin. Now there are two inputs. This L293D can control two motors, or either one servo, one DC motor, two DC motors, or it can control the one stepper motor. So now we are controlling here only one DC motor. So you see here, this is the input 1. So this is the input 1 pin connected here, and this is the input 2. So these inputs are coming from the Arduino to your IC, and now this IC has just two output pins for your controlling the motor. So where we see where is this is the output 1 and this output 2. So it means that this output 1 and output 2 should be connected with your motor. Now we see here, this input pin is connected at the pin number 11. Then input 2 is connected at pin number 9. Also, you can observe that this pin number 9 and 11 we have used the your PWM pins. If you would like to control the speed of your this DC motor, that also be possible. Okay, but now this time we are not controlling the speed of this motor. This DC motor. We are just controlling the direction of this motor. That we can rotate this motor either in a clockwise, or we can rotate this motor in the anti-clockwise direction. And this pin number 13 is connected where? To the pin number of 1 of this IC, which is the enable pin. So if you make the high to pin number this 13, then it means that it is going to enable this IC. And if you enable this IC, it means that it will take the input from these input pins, and according to the inputs pin, it will control the motor. Fine. Now let me see what is the code is there. So basically how actually this L293D works. Whatever the value is there with respect to this input pins, the same value gets sent to the output pins. What it means that suppose this pin where this pin is there, this pin is say pin number 11 of your Arduino. If this pin is high, 11 pin number is high, then it means that the pin number 2, that is the input 1, will be the high. And if this pin, that is the pin number 9 of Arduino, is low, that means the input 2 is low. Now what the L293D is going to do, it will make this output 1 will be high and output 2 will be low. Now what this DC motor will get, at the one terminal it will get the positive, and at another terminal it will get the negative. And due to this motor will start rotating in one of the direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, let me assume that the motor is rotating in a clockwise direction. Okay, now next time if you make this pin number 11 of the Arduino to the low, and if you make this pin number 9 to the high, then it will send the low to output 1, and it will send high to output 2. Now if you see, the power received to this DC motor get changed. Due to this, the direction of this DC motor will change now. So whatever the earlier direction is there, so we have assumed clockwise, so this time it will be anti-clockwise there. Fine. So simply just we have to make this pin number 11 and 9 high and low, either. Okay, so either you have to keep pin number 11 high or pin number 9 low, or we can keep pin number 9 high and pin number 11 low. If you keep both the pins low, high or low, then obviously there is no flow of current through this motor, and the motor will not run. Okay, so let me write a small code here. So how many pins we have used for the Arduino here? 1, 2, 3. So that's for all these 3 pins are output pins, because we are controlling this L293D IC. So all these 3 pins are output pins. So you'll see here pin number 13, 11 and 9. All pins are output pins. And what we would like to make, we would like to activate this L293D edge bridges. So therefore we have to make this pin number 13 of Arduino to be the high, which is connected to the enable 1 and 2. Therefore we have made here digital write pin number 13 as high, which is we have written once in a setup. Now what we'll do, we'll write a small code in a loop so that this motor will run for 10 seconds in a clockwise direction and 10 seconds for anti-clockwise direction. So you'll see here the pin number 11 we have written a digital write as high, whereas for the pin number 9 we have written a low. Therefore the motor will rotate in a clockwise direction. Now we have given a delay of 10 seconds, so for up to 10 seconds this motor will run clockwise direction, and after that if you see the pin number 11 is given a low value and pin number 9 has given a high value, and again we have given a delay of 10 seconds, so this motor will rotate in anti-clockwise direction for 10 seconds. Let will run this one. See, so this motor has started moving in a clockwise direction. Now we have to wait for 10 seconds. Now see, it started rotating in anti-clockwise direction. The negative sign here denotes that it is rotating in an anti-clockwise direction. So in this way now we can control the motor. Okay. Now what we can do, we can add here some LDR, and based on that LDR value we can control this motor direction. So if your light value is less than some value, particular value, then this motor should run in a clockwise direction, and if your light value is above some particular value, then this motor should run in anti-clockwise direction. So such type of examples that we can do, and the students can also understand the different interfacing of sensors along with the actuator. You can do some changes here. We can keep this high, then low here, and try to see whether this motor is going to run or not. We can change the delay. We can add we can add one switch here, and if you press the switch accordingly, this motor should rotate. So likewise, we can add some conditions here, and based on that, we can also develop some of the examples. Now our aim today is to design some weather station where some LDR is there. some temperature sensor is there, and you would like to display the light value and your temperature value on an LCD display. And another task that we have is what? Suppose your temperature value is say below 30 degrees Celsius, and then you should stop the motor. And if your temperature goes above 30 degrees Celsius, then we have to start the motor. So that is what the task we have to do. Okay, so let me open the example given to you. So this is the example given to you, that is the weather station FDP6. So let me copy it. If you are doing yourself and if you are, so I think you are also following me. Now copy this, open it. Now click on copy and tinker this. Okay, so you see here I have also used extra breadboard. So suppose if you are using many compounds here, you can use the different or you can add more extra number of breadboards here. Okay, so you see here, this is a temperature sensor which is connected at where it is connected A0, whereas this LDR is connected at A1. Okay, so what it means that we have to read the data from A0 and A1. So from the A0 we are getting the temperature data, from A1 we are getting the light data from the LDR, and this both the data we would like to display on this LCD. So what we'll do, we'll display this temperature data on the first row, whereas we would like to will display the light data on row 2. So what will be the possibility here? What is the row address on first row? It will be the 0,0, and for the second row the address will be the 0,1. So what we have to do, whenever we display the temperature data, then we have to use the address of 0,0 for the LCD, and whenever we display the light data or LDR data, then we have to use the set cursor at 0,1. Okay, so let me move to the So we have used here almost the same pins that we have used in earlier example for the LCD. Only now this time we do not have any digital sensor or digital switches or any data. So we don't have any sensors or actuators here as a digital. So we have only LCD which is connected at pin number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 30. Now, but we have a two analog sensors are here. So one is connected at A0 and one is connected at A1. So what we'll do, we'll read the data from A0 and A1, we'll display it on LCD display, and we'll also send it to our serial monitor. So let me go to the code. So we have defined here, or we have included the library for LCD display, that is the LCD crystal, and we have defined the pins for LCD crystal. So what are the pin numbers is defined here? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So let's look here. This is the pin number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are used for the LCD. Now we are defined here few variables. It's like one is temperature in, another is light in, and the third we have used here the float as a temp. Now where is the, okay, so actually I need to remove it. So in code, these two lines are added there. Pin mode 6 and pin mode 7 is there. Please remove it. Actually, we don't need these two pins right now. And also there is in the loop there are two pins available. That is a digital write 6 and 7 is. So also remove this both the lines. Okay, so we are defined as serial.begin with the baud rate of 9600. So because we would like to display this temperature data and light data on a serial monitor. So we are defined the serial monitor here, serial port here with the baud rate 9600. Now we are defined here the LCD with the 16:2 value. Next is the loop. Now we'll read the value from A0. So from the A0, we have a temperature sensor is connected. So we are reading the value from A0. Now we are converting this temperature in value and we are dividing it by 1024 so that we'll get the value in terms of temperature. Now we are multiplying it with 5 so that it gives you the equivalent voltage. And now we are separating it the 0.5. The 0.5 actually denotes the subtraction of the room temperature value. And then we have multiplied it with 100. So whatever the value of your voltage that we get, that we converted into a degree Celsius. Now next we are reading the value from A1, that is the light value. So in temp we have a temperature value and in light in we have a light value there. So we'll display the temperature value on serial monitor, and next we'll display the light on a serial monitor. So we are written here serial.print temperature in Celsius, then serial.print the temp value, this one, and then we have a serial.println is there. So actually what is this ln is there? This ln is nothing but the next line. So either you can use the ln here or you can use the ln here. Then the serial.print light in percentage. Next we are printing the light value, and again we have serial.println is there to get the next line. Okay. Now the same values that we are displaying on a serial monitor, we would like to display on a LCD. So as we know, there are two rows available. So for display the temperature value, we are use the 0,0 value. So that is the row 1 value. And we are next time we are use the 0,1, that is the row 2 value. On the first row, we are going to display the temperature temp C and colon. What is this? And then we are going to display the temperature value at the location 9,0. On the second row, we are going to display the light percentage and colon, and then on the same row, we are going to display the lighting. So what is about this 9 and 0? How many characters this temp C colon is going to consume? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is there. So it means that if you would like to display this temp C colon and space, then it is going to consume or the almost 7 characters. So it means that on whenever you're going to display the name, so it will display the temp C colon here. Okay, and after that we should display the temperature value. Therefore, we have again taken care of this 8. Okay, and then we are using 9 here. So it means that from the 9th character, it is going to display the temperature value. Again, in the same way, light is going to consume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. From the 9th, it is going to display the light value. And we have added one delay here. So it is up to you whether you have to add the delay or not. Okay. So let me start. Okay. So you'll see here, it is displaying the temperature C, that is at 24.71, and it is displaying light in the form of 11. So if you click on this temperature, it shows that you have to move this bar towards high temperature. You see that automatically the temperature is also rising. And here is the LCD. You can click on it and you can also move towards light. And also the light increases. Good. Now it is displaying both temperature as well as light values. Now you can change these values and you can think about where you can keep these characters. Just like we can keep here the 8 also. 8. Check here. Now this time we have our correct data values available here. So you see this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So actually it is starting from 0 location. No? So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So from this the address of this character is now 8. Fine. So in this way we can display the different values on your LCD display. So this platform you can also use for the experimentation purpose. So in many universities we have a microcontrollers is the one of the subject, and due to this pandemic now students are not in the campus. So this type of platforms can also be used to teach them the programming, also to how to interface the sensors, then the actuators, display devices, and they can learn the embedded C also. As we know, all these connections are going to be the same, whether the controller is the different or not, whether you have a controller of 8051 or uh, any 8 mega controllers. Obviously, with the 8051, we need an extra A to D converter, but most of the connections are almost same. So, student at least understand how we can do the connections. Yeah. Now, our today's aim is what we have to add one motor here, the DC motor from the previous example. So this is the previous example we have. So this is the assignment for all of you. I request all of you to do this thing so that it will helpful for you to how to work with the Tinkercad. It may be possible there are many teachers who already work with this Tinkercad. So if you have not worked with this Tinkercad, I request you to. So what is thing you would like to do? We have to check the temperature value, okay, and we have to check this temperature value, this one, okay, and if it is less than say 40 or 50 degrees Celsius, then your motor should rotate in a clockwise direction, okay, and if it is greater than some value, or you can just do something that if motor if your temperature is less than 50 degrees Celsius, then you can say that the motor will be stopped. And if your temperature is greater than 50 degrees Celsius, then motor has to rotate. So it is up to you whether you have to use this complete circuitry or directly you can use the direct terminals of these motors. So let me take the motor from here. So this is a DC motor available. It will in here like this. Okay. And connect one of the terminal. Connect it at pin number 7. Assign some another color here. And this is going to be Well, practically do not connect any DC motors directly with the Arduino. It is going to damage your Arduino because you know that the motors need more current, and the practical Arduinos gives you only maximum 40 milliamps of current. Okay, so now we have connected our motor to the pin number 6 and 7. So let me do some here. So compare here. M is equal to 50 degrees. Then we have that we have used two digital pins here for the motor. So we have to define these two pins in a setup. So digital write pin number 6 is there, that would be the output. Sorry. And then here what we'll do, we'll write here digital write pin number 6. So we'll make it that if your temperature value is less than 50 degree, sorry, right like this, less than or equal to 50, then you have to keep the motor in off state. The else will be right. So we copy it. So this one will be say high. So one pin we have kept high, another pin we have kept low here. Let me try whether it is going to work or not. So presently the temperature is 24 degrees Celsius and the motor is not running. Let me click on a temperature sensor and move it slowly. It is moving. Okay, now you see here the motor is running. Why actually this motor is slowly running? Because the current getting from this Arduino is very less. Due to this motor is running very slowly. See, this motor is having a maximum speed of around 10,000 RPM, but it is now running at almost 4,000 RPM. So I think it is working. Let me reduce this temperature. Okay, now it's stopped. Now, a small task that if you do yourself, you please add this L293 IC in this circuit. So here is the IC available. If you search for it, if you go to the all, click on this all, and if you go here down, then you have these ICs are available. So here is the IC. This is the L293D. So you just click on it and you move like this, it will reach. So I request you to all of you please try like this and make a circuit in the same way, in the same like this. Only what is the change that you have to do? These pin numbers are connected at pin number 9, 10, 9, 11 and 13. You have to change these pin numbers to 7, 6 and 5. 5, 6 and 7. Okay. So what it means that we will use the Arduino pin number 6, 5, 6, 7. So you just remove all these connections from here. So we will remove this and connect the pin number 5, 6, 7 to this L293D. Apply some power here. So already the power available here on this breadboard. So this is the VCC and this one is the ground. And likewise you just connect all these wires here and connect this motor to this L293D and try to run this motor. Your code is not going to change, only the pin numbers are going to change here. So if you would like to do this your own, please raise your hand, otherwise I will do it and I will show it how to do it. Okay, so some people would like to do this task their own. Till the time, if some other people have any queries regarding the Tinkercad, they can also ask.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, sir.
Sir, in radio station, you just there's a potentiometer near to the temperature sensor. So how it will work?
No, actually, see here, this potentiometer actually connected. See, the middle wire of this potentiometer is connected to the V0, which is the pin of your LCD, which is a contrast pin of the LCD. So if you run this,
we can control the brightness.
yeah, we are going to control the contrast here. See here, if I am moving here.
So this is the position at minimum level, na? Hello.
Yeah.
This is the position of potentiometer at minimum level, na?
No, it is actually, I think it is at maximum level, sir. So how your potentiometer is connected, that may change, because sometimes you may connect this voltage to yeah, I think presently this potentiometer value is at the lowest value. So if you change this, say, red wire to this pin and this black to ground to this wire, then obviously there is a change in resistance also. The temperature sensor used, some of the people are asking the queries on the temperature sensor used here is a TMP 36. This is one temperature sensor. TMP 36 is there. So analog devices will have this TMP 36. So this is what the temperature sensor given. So we'll assign a power here to the first pin. So let's stop it, and we will apply the power here. So what we'll do, we'll apply the power here. So by mistake actually. Next we'll make it red. So we'll connect this wire to this wire so that it will be a power line, and this wire to this wire. So this one will be the ground. Where are the ground piece? So this is the ground. Now make it black, and this wire is also black. And this pin is enable pin, so we will take one pin from Arduino, and this one is input, this one is output, this one is output, this one is input, and this one is power. So that we will connect this to the power line. Now where is this? So there are two output pins here. This one is the input and this one is the output. So we'll connect this pin, one pin like this. And there is this output pin. So we'll connect it. And now we have this enable pin. So we'll take the first pin here, pin number 7. Move the pin like this. Okay, so now we got the pin number 7 here. We'll assign purple color here. Then this one is the input. So pin number 6. This one color here. And there is another input here. This one. Okay, good. So now we did a connection here, and what is the change here? That is a pin number 6, 7, sorry, 5, 6, 7 we have used here. So we'll add that pin numbers in the code. So pin number 5, then 6, and there will be another pin 7. What you have to do, this pin number 7 is connected to the enable pin, so that we have to make high. This one will be the high. 7 will be the high. Good. So we have defined 3 pins for controlling this L293D. Pin number 5, 6 as the input pins and pin number 7 as the enable pin. Now we have made the pin number 7 as high, so this IC is going to be enabled. And now we have to add here that pin number 6 and 7. So if it is less than 50, then the motor will be in off state, and if your temperature is greater than 50, then this is going to send high and low value. So let me try to run this. Let me move it. It's not repeating. Yeah, sorry. Thank you all of you for giving me the correction. So that will be the pin number 5 and 6. Thank you all of you. Okay, now it started rotating. So it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So that small change you can do and make it go and up. A little minute. Now it is moving. Great. So now what we did here, we are measuring the some values from your temperature sensor and LDR, and also we are controlling the motor. Now we can add multiple functions here. As I have given you the example that if you go to this Tinkercad, here you can search different examples. Even I have taken this one or two examples from already performed by some people. So you can also do the same thing. There are many examples already available, and out of this some examples. So go to the search here. So here is a search button. You just click on the search. And also, if you would like to go through the 3D designs or circuits, you click on the circuits, and just like to search for anything. Say you would like to search for sensors, and just enter. So you'll get the many examples here, and these readily available circuit diagrams are there that we can share with the students, or we can also use to learn something about the Arduino circuits or the components available in the this Tinkercad. So many people have used these sensors and actuators in their projects. So we also get how these people have used these sensors and actuators in their project, what is the code they have written. So we can also understand like this. Suppose this is one of the example. One of the member has Just like it has a one temperature sensor, then servo motor is there. This is the one project in which alarm is there, stepper, then one DC motor is there. Then we have one PR sensor is there, ultrasonic sensor is there. Likewise, we can have different examples freely available which are in a public domain, and just try to elaborate some of the you can say possibilities through the Tinkercad. Okay, so that's it from my side for today, because we do not want to exhaust more, because we would like to be there in next 3 days, and we would like to listen to more our industry persons. So tomorrow we'll try to send data to the cloud. So I'll show you how we can keep our data to cloud and we can visualize them. So either we'll do this through the Tinkercad, or I will show you through some of the good cloud platforms which are freely available on the internet. So if you have any queries or questions regarding today's hands-on, you please ask. Otherwise, we'll stop here. You can unmute yourself and you can ask some queries. And if you do not have any queries, then you can leave the meeting. Jayesh, would you like to? Jayesh started, is there? So thank you all of you. If you do not have any queries, so we'll meet tomorrow at 1 p.m. again. And today we have, tomorrow we have again Santosh Sam Kushi sir is there, who is going to deliver different case studies they have developed at CDAC for the agriculture applications. So thank you all of you. Have a good day.